Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Mauricio Pochettinho is Manchester United's #1 choice to become the next permanent manager. Pochettinho has told his friends he will be leaving PSG in the summer. PSG recently got knocked out of the French Cup by Nice, and that's put more pressure on Pochettinho. Pochettinho's job hinges on PSG getting to the next round of the Champions League. PSG play Real Madrid in the last 16 of the Champions League. PSG are looking at getting Zinedine Zidane as a replacement for Pochettinho. Earlier on this season it said PSG agreed personal terms with Zinedine Zidane. Pochettinho has been at PSG for over a year. I think he's won a French Cup with them. His contract at PSG expires next year. I reckon Pochettinho would be the right manager for Manchester United. He would suit the strappings of the club. He'd get the best out of these group of players. Plus, he's proven in the Premier League, which is beneficial as well, because revert back to before, Pochettinho endured a 5.5-year managerial tenure at Tottenham. Back in 2018 he got Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final, and at one point he almost won the league when he was Tottenham manager. Before Tottenham he managed Southampton. He only endured a short managerial tenure at Southampton, but he still managed to guide Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. So they're the clubs he's managed in the Premier League so far, and before Southampton he managed Espanyol. Revert back to when Manchester United sacked Jose Mourinho. Manchester United should have got Pochettinho then, but the club decided to go with Solskjaer instead. I'm hearing that Pochettinho could be sacked by March. That's according to Telefoot. Erik ten Hag, he's been relentlessly linked with a managerial role at Manchester United, and like I updated you yesterday, it said that Man United fans want Erik ten Hag to take the Old Trafford job instead of Pochettinho. You've got to admire the work that ten Hag has done at Ajax. He's developed the young players well, he's won a couple of titles with them. Revert back to 2019, he got Ajax to the Champions League semi-finals. He's been Ajax manager for over 4 years. He got appointed in as the Ajax manager back in 2017. His contract at Ajax expires next year. Ajax is the 4th club he's managing in his managerial career. Before he managed Utrecht, before he's managed Bayern Munich's reserves, and before then he managed Go Ahead Eagles. You know, Man United are looking for the 5th permanent manager since Ferguson retired, because 4 permanent managers have been sacked so far. We sacked David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, and last year Manchester United sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ralf Rangnick is Manchester United's interim manager. It's said until the end of the season, then he's expected to take a consultancy role for a further 2 years. So far, Rangnick has managed 10 games in all competitions. He's lost just 1 game so far, and he's had 5 wins from 8 league games, and he's progressed Manchester United to the 4th round of the FA Cup. There's been good performances under Rangnick, there's also been poor performances as well. Revert back to the other week, it's said that Man United had put their search for a new manager on hold after being impressed by Ralph Rangnick since he took charge in December, and it said Man United were considering offering Rangnick the job on a permanent basis. Revert back to earlier on this season, there was reports saying that Rangnick was already under pressure and he was losing the dressing room at Man United because it said 17 Manchester United players were unhappy and wanted to leave. It actually said at that point that Rangnick was going to be backed by the Glazers in January, but he wasn't backed in the January transfer window because Man United didn't make any signings. Don't forget, Man United changed formation under Rangnick. Our new formation is the 4-3-3 formation. That formation seems to suit our standards. Before Man United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. You already know the news on Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood is banned from England and Man United. He will not be able to train or play any matches. Yesterday, Mason Greenwood was released on bail after being arrested. Not so long ago, Greenwood was further arrested on suspicion of sexual assault and making threats to kill. Last Sunday, Greenwood was arrested on suspicion of rape and assault. Not so long ago, Greenwood was removed from FIFA 22. But yeah, reflecting on all of this, Greenwood's career at Manchester United is officially over, and his England career is also officially over. It's disgraceful what Greenwood has done. He's only the age of 20. Greenwood joined Manchester United at the age of 6. He made his senior debut for the club back in 2019, and since then he's gone to make 129 appearances. He's scored over 30 goals. Last season he signed a new 4-year contract. Revert back to earlier on this season, Greenwood was out with COVID for a while, and at one point Greenwood said he was upset that Ronaldo always starts. And revert back to 2019, Man United offered Mason Greenwood a life-changing amount of money for him to leave. So there you go. There is good players at Manchester United. There's also inconsistent players as well. We've got Marcus Rashford. He has enjoyed a lot of poor games since he had that operation on his shoulder, and a lot of United fans, including me, have said that Rashford has not been the same player since he had that operation on his shoulder. Rashford missed the first 2 months of the season with that shoulder problem, but to Rashford's credit, he's found some form in the last couple of games. Rashford came off the bench and scored the winner against West Ham before the international break. The goal against West Ham came in the 93rd minute of stoppage time. And he also came off the bench in the game against Brentford and scored. That ended Marcus Rashford's 3-month goal drought. Rashford had a minor leg injury as well, not so long ago. Rashford's contract at Manchester United expires next year. Revert back to earlier on this season, it said Rashford was preparing to open contract talks with Man United. PSG have been in for Rashford, and earlier on this season Barcelona went in for him. Rashford has been part of the club for a long time. He came up our academy. He joined Man United at the age of 7 and he broke into our senior squad back in 2016, and since then he's made nearly 300 appearances in all competitions. Edinson Cavani, he's also a good player. Cavani, came off the bench and got the assist for Marcus Rashford's winning goal against West Ham before the break, but a lot of people said Cavani was offside. Cavani has had a few injuries this season. Cavani will leave Man United in the summer because revert back to earlier on this season, Ralph Rangnick revealed that Edinson Cavani wants to stay at Man United until the end of the season. He's out of contract at Man United in the summer. Man United got Cavani on a free transfer from PSG back in the summer of 2020. Now, I have been hearing that River Plate are considering a transfer for Edinson Cavani to replace Julian Alvarez. Last year, Cavani was linked with Barcelona. It actually said at one point that Cavani agreed to join Barcelona on an 18-month contract. Barcelona were seeing him as a replacement for Aguero because Aguero retired due to heart problems. Juventus went in for him as well, and last year Cavani rejected a move to Boca Juniors. Man United have got Juan Mata. Juan Mata doesn't get in the team, does he? He lost his place in the team a while ago. Mata will leave Man United in the summer. His contract at Manchester United expires in the summer because revert back to last year, Man United extended Juan Mata's contract for a further year. Mata's had a good career though at Manchester United. He's made 276 appearances in all competitions and he's scored 51 goals. And Matt has been at Manchester United for 8 years, so reflecting on that, he's been a long-serving player. Man United got Matt from Chelsea back in 2014. Got him for 37.1 million. Back in 2020, Matt rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. Man United have also got Jadon Sancho. Now, he hasn't been good enough so far. He's done nowhere near as well as a lot of Manchester United fans expected. But it does take some players time to settle in. Revert back to when we had Solskjaer, we couldn't get the best out of Sancho because there was quite a few games Sancho didn't even play in under Solskjaer. And Solskjaer persistently played him out of position. The best games Sancho's endured since he signed for the club was the games against Villarreal and Chelsea away because he scored in both them games. To his credit as well, he did well in the 3-1 win against Burnley last year, did Sancho. But unfortunately, he was denied a goal. Thought Sancho did well in the game against Palace as well last year. He did well in the first half, but weren't that good in the second half. Sancho's missed the last couple of games for Man United, I think due to personal reasons. Sancho endured 4 good years at Borussia Dortmund before he signed for Man United. Man United got Sancho last summer for 78 million with add-ons included. Man United paid 73 million up front. Sancho's got a contract with Man United until June 2026 as an option of a further year. Mason Greenwood was a good player, no longer a good player now because his career at Man United is over, like I've said. Obviously Jesse Lingard not good enough to represent the club. Lingard doesn't even get in the team. Lingard should have left Manchester United in January, but Manchester United blocked his exit. It was Newcastle and West Ham that were battling it out to get him on loan. It said Newcastle were willing to pay a loan fee of 3 million plus a further 4 million payment of a survival bonus. Newcastle were in talks. And obviously at the second half of last season, Lingard endured a 4-month loan spell with West Ham and he made an impact. Lingard, I think, also rejected an approach from Everton. Didn't he? But yeah, Man United blocked his exit in January. Lingard's out of contract at Man United in the summer. He has been part of the club for a long time. Man United, of course, have got the best player in the world overall in Cristiano Ronaldo. As you all know, Ronaldo will leave Man United in the summer if they fail to qualify for the Champions League. And it said Ronaldo faces a 25% pay cut should Manchester United fail to qualify for the Champions League. Revert back to the other week, reports from Spain said that Ronaldo could be heading back to Real Madrid. Before, Ronaldo endured like 9.5 years at Real Madrid. That's before he went to Juventus, and Ronaldo's already asked his agent to find him another club because quite clearly he's unhappy at Man United. Earlier on this season, Ronaldo was targeted by PSG. Earlier on this season, Ronaldo gave an interview, didn't he? And he was very critical of the youngsters, so reflecting on that, he was demanding more from the youngsters. He was also backing Ralph Rangnick to do a good job at Man United. And Ronaldo also said, I'm not at Man United to compete for 6th or 7th. He said, finishing below 3rd is unacceptable. Ronaldo played in the game against West Ham before the international break. He did well, to be fair, but he was actually a doubt for the game because prior to the game he picked up a neck injury. But obviously Ronaldo recovered from the neck injury. Ronaldo's had a few injuries since he re-signed. Since Ronaldo re-signed, he's scored 14 goals in all competitions. He's got over 800 goals in his career. Man United re-signed Ronaldo last summer for 20 million with add-ons included. He wears a number 7 shirt and his contract at Man United expires next year. Ronaldo receives £480,000 a week, so he's the highest earner at Man United at the moment. We've also got Bruno Fernandez. Bruno Fernandez is one of our best players and he's certainly one of the best signings we've made since Ferguson retired. Fernandez played against West Ham before the international break. It was anonymous in that game, to be fair. I thought he was far superior in the games against Brentford and Aston Villa in the league because Fernandez against Brentford got 2 assists and he scored both of Man United's goals in the 2-2 draw against Aston Villa. The Brentford and Villa games are probably the 2 best games that Fernandez has endured so far this season. Because let's be honest, Fernandez has endured a lot of poor games this season. Earlier on this season, The Athletic said that Bruno Fernandez rejected a contract offer from Man United. It said Bruno Fernandez contract talks are postponed until the summer, having turned down an offer last year. It said Fernandez was demanding similar money to the top earners at the club. Fernandez receives £100,000 a week at the moment. He's under contract with Man United until 2025. There's an option of a further 12 months. And he's been a Man United player for 2 years. Got him from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020. We've also got Anthony Elanga now. He looks a very good asset for the first team squad. Elanga, has made quite a few first team appearances now. Elanga did very well against West Ham before the international break. He also did well in the 3-1 win against Brentford. He scored in that game. That was his first goal of the season. Very good header as well. He also did very well in the 2-2 draw against Villa because he had a couple of chances in that game, but unfortunately he didn't convert them. Anthony Elanga's only the age of 19. You know, he's been part of the club for a long time. He risen up our academy in that. He joined Man United's academy at the age of 12. Towards the end of last year, Elanga committed his future to the club because he signed a new contract with Man United until June 2026. There's an option of a further year. Paul Pogba, he's also a good player. He's not only a good player, he's an imperative player as well. He is injury prone, which is a concern. You know, Pogba has been out with injury for a while. But the good news is, from a Man United perspective, that Pogba is expected to be available for the game against Middlesbrough tomorrow in the FA Cup 4th round. Because Pogba recently returned to full training. Now, not so long ago, like I updated you, it said Pogba is willing to stay at Manchester United as long as Ralph Rangnick is manager for next season. Pogba's actually been impressed by Ralph Rangnick since his arrival. And it said Pogba would be open to signing a new contract if Rangnick gets the job permanently. Pogba's contract at Manchester United expires in the summer. Revert back to the other month, was it? The Sun said that Man United offered Pogba a new £500,000 a week contract. That would have made Pogba the highest paid player in Premier League history. But Pogba actually denied being offered that contract. This season has been Pogba's 6th season at Man United since he re-signed. He's won 3 trophies at the club so far, and Manchester United paid £89 million for him, so reflecting on that, is our most expensive sign at the moment. We had Pogba when he was a lot younger under the Ferguson era, but had to let him go due to limited appearances. We've got Fred. I don't think Fred is good enough to represent the club. But to be honest with you, Fred has had good games this season. Manchester United got Fred a few years ago from Shakhtar Donetsk. Got him for around £50 million. And I've also got to make an admission regarding Fred. He was an exceptional player during his time in Ukraine. Scott McTominay, he's been a great player under Rangnick. He's been our best performer under Rangnick. He's had good games this season. McTominay weren't brilliant against West Ham in the league just before the international break, but he was very good in the 3-1 win against Brentford because he was involved in the build-ups to the goals. He also played well against Aston Villa in the Cup. The only goal that game came from McTominay header. He got man of the match for that one. He missed a 2-2 draw against Villa in the league due to suspension. He played very well at Norwich last year, and he played very well on the opening day against Leeds when Man United won 5-1. McTominay has been part of the club for a long time. Revert back to 2020, McTominay signed a 5-year contract. We've also got Nemanja Matic. Matic, not good enough to represent the club. Matic will leave Man United in the summer. He's out of contract in the summer. Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but despite that, he still seems to get his opportunities in, and he's the only predominant centre defensive midfielder Man United have got at the moment. You know, he's played quite a lot of games, hasn't he, alongside Fred and McTominay. I think he's played alongside Pogba a few times before as well. Manchester United got Matic from Chelsea back in 2017. We got him for 40 million. we've got Diego Dalot. I think he's been a very good right back under Rangnick. He's our first choice right back under Rangnick. Dalot played very well against West Ham before the international break. Do you think Dalot will stay at Man United this year, or do you think he'll leave? Last season, Dalot had a loan spell with AC Milan, so reflecting on that, he gained some experience. Man United got Dalot from Porto a few years ago now, paid £19 million for him, brought him in under the Jose Mourinho era. Don't forget, Dalot's contract at Man United expires next year. Another right back we've got is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Not good enough to represent the club. He was first choice under Solskjaer, but he's not first choice under Rangnick. Bissaka hasn't played the last few games because he's been out with COVID. I think defensively Bissaka's good, but the attacking side of his game lets him down. This season's been Bissaka's third full season at Man United. Man United got Aaron Wan-Bissaka from Crystal Palace back in 2019. Got him for £50 million. Man United have got quite a few centre-halves. Obviously we've got Eric Bailly. He is a good centre-half, Bailly, but don't have a great deal of a perception on him anymore because Bailly lost his place in the team a while ago. Bailly was at the African Cup of Nations not so long ago, and the last game he played for Man United was the 3-1 win against Burnley. But Bailly came off injured in that game, and he is injury prone, which is a concern. Back in April last year, Bailly signed a new contract with Man United until 2024. Bailly will leave Man United in the summer, I reckon. I thought he was going to leave in the January transfer window because in the early stages of the January transfer window, Damasio said that Bailly agreed to join AC Milan on loan, and it said Bailly was extremely interested in a move to Italy. Man United got Bailly from Villarreal back in 2016. We paid £30 million for him. So Bailly's been at Manchester United now for over 5 years. Another centre-half we've got is Harry Mcguire. Now, definitely Harry Mcguire is not good enough to represent the club. Man United are looking to sell Mcguire in the summer. And I said we need to take the captaincy off Mcguire because quite clearly, not a leader. Not so long ago, Mcguire had a minor injury. He had a calf injury earlier on this season, and towards the end of last season he had ligament damage in his ankle. So he's sustained a few injuries since he signed for the club. Mcguire's been a Manchester United player for over 2 years now. Manchester United got him from Leicester back in summer of 2019. We got him for 80 million, so he's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment and the second most expensive signing at the club. We've also got Rafael Varan. He's a very good centre-half. Most of the time when Varan plays, he seems to make the difference. Varan did well against West Ham before the international break. He also played very well in the 3-1 win against Brentford. They're probably the 2 best games he's enjoyed this season. Varan's had a couple of injuries since he signed for the club. He had a hamstring injury, and before he had that hamstring injury, he had a groin injury, and he was out with that groin injury for a few weeks. Manchester United got Varan for 41 million with add-ons included. He's got a contract with Man United until 2025. There's an option of a further year. Varan is regarded as one of the best centre-halves in the world. He's highly experienced and he's got a good pedigree behind him. Another centre-half Manchester United have got is Phil Jones. Jones will leave the club in the summer. You know, Jones doesn't get in our team, does he? On deadline day of the January transfer window, don't forget Fabrizio Romano said that Phil Jones rejected a loan move to Bordeaux. But it actually said that Man United and Bordeaux had reached an agreement for Phil Jones to go out on loan in order to get more playing time, and even reports from France said that Phil Jones talks were at final stages. But I think, Rangnick said he's happy for Phil Jones to stay. Jones played in the 1-0 defeat to Wolves at Old Trafford earlier on this season. He was our best performer in that game, and that was his first Premier League appearance since January 2020. This season has been Jones' 11th season at Man United, so reflecting on that, he's been a long-serving player. He's the only outfield player that's still with us from the Ferguson era. We've got Alex Telles. He's been a very good left back under Rangnick, and obviously he's our first choice left back under Rangnick. Telles played against West Ham before the international break, and he was very good. Telles obviously didn't get much opportunities when we had Solskjaer, because obviously he wasn't our first choice left back under Solskjaer. Luke Shaw was. The reason Man United brought Telles in was to provide competition for Luke Shaw. And earlier on this season, Telles had injury. I hope Telles doesn't leave Manchester United this year. We got Telles from Porto back in 2020, got him in a deal worth 15.4 million. And we've got Luke Shaw. He's a good left back overall, but Luke Shaw has endured a lot of poor games this season. And I'm shocked in that aspect, because revert back to last season, Luke Shaw was very, very good. He's actually out with injury, isn't he, at the moment? I think he's expected to be available for the game against Middlesbrough tomorrow. Luke Shaw had a couple of injuries earlier on this season. He's injury prone, which is a concern. Shaw's been at Manchester United for 8 years, so reflecting on that, he's been a long-serving player. We've also got Lindelof as well. He's another centre-half I forgot to mention him earlier. And he's not good enough to represent the club. Manchester United need to move him on in the summer. We've got quite a few goalkeepers. Obviously, we've got De Gea, first choice goalkeeper. World-class goalkeeper is De Gea. He's been superb this season. He's now back to his best. I think he's just recently been nominated for what Premier League Player of the Month is it. Henderson, he's our second choice goalkeeper. Good keeper, but he doesn't get in there much, because revert back to last summer, De Gea reclaimed that #1 spot back. We need to move Henderson on in the summer. He should have gone in January, but Man United blocked his exit. Henderson's only made 2 appearances this season. Man United's third choice keeper is Tom Eaton. He's a backup, obviously. We got Tom Eaton on a free transfer from Aston Villa last summer. I think at the time he signed a 2-year contract with Man United with an option of a 3rd year. And I think Lee Grant's still at Man United, so you can classify him as our 4th choice goalkeeper. So there you go. A Man United squad is worth a lot of money. But in the January transfer window, Man United loaned quite a few players out. We loaned Donny van der Beek out to Everton. We loaned Martial out to Sevilla. We loaned Amad Diallo out to Rangers. Recently scored on his Rangers debut. We loaned Tiedemann Mengi out to Birmingham. Tuanzebe went out on loan to Napoli. And I think Ethan Laird also went out on loan. But like I said earlier on in the video, it was a disappointing January transfer window for Man United, because we didn't make any signings. Man United wanted a midfielder, because when Rangnick first came in, he identified Manchester United's midfield as a weakness. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.